Eve agus fáilte Rove go léir to Galliv. Welcome to what is a wet and windy Pearse Stadium. It is the last round of games in the Galway Secours Senior Football Championship, round 3. And I suppose the way things have shaped up to date, we have a good indication of the new format that 11 out of the 12 teams that we know will be in the knockout stages of the championship. But here today we will focus on Group 1. It is a battle between Oughterard, who've made the short trip in from the west side of the county. A little bit further up the road comes Mountbellew, Moylough. Both sides are pretty much fighting for a second position in the table. And thankfully the weather, as we look around, is the first port of call really here as well. There is, first thing to note really, is the standard Salt Hill breeze, probably a little stronger than normal if you just look at some of the flags down by the sideline in front of us, but it's pretty much going straight up the length of the pitch, directly from goalmount to goalmount. I see the tricolour down to our right hand side pretty much blown in a straight line. The wind has always a factor here as well. Rain has been hopping off. Eddie, I hope you Eddie Horde, thanks for joining us here on Galway GATV, of course brought to you in conjunction with Stream Sport and Galway Bay FM. I hope you danced around the showers coming into here as well. It's a soft day in the Galway city.
Definitely is, yeah. Wet and windy day here in Pearse Stadium. There's always a breeze. It's always a factor in games in Pearse Stadium generally, and like you touched on, Jonathan, a very strong breeze, stronger than normal, into the Rockbarton end goal, and it'll have a big bearing on the contest. It'll be interesting to see what way the teams play.
The toss is pivotal, isn't it?
The toss is really, really important. So again, if you build up a lead with the new 2 pointers, it can be hard to peg back at times.
Okay, we'll give you a run through the teams here as well. First up, Mountbellew, Moylough, a number of changes on their side, so we'll try to piece through the conditions and the teams as things take place. This, of course, is just to give you an overview. These teams are printed in the programme long before a ball is kicked, and there's always a number of change. So in goal will be Michael Foley. It will be number 3, Billy Mannion, number 4, Michael Noon, and number 6, John Daly, alongside number 7, Colin Ryan. 8 will be Leo Donlan, 10 is Colin Mannion, and 11 is Owen Boyle. Barry McHugh, keep an eye out for him, number 14, he has been their sharp shooter. And a welcome return for a start. He did have an appearance off the substitute bench, but Owen Finnerty comes in. Damien Boyle, looks like he's gone in goal there straight away. Eddie, you'll keep an eye on that one for us there as well. 17 is Colin Murray. 20 is Michael Kelly. 24, another player that caught the eye last time around, Tony Shields. Alongside him, number 28, Sean Kelly. For Oughterard, it's a little bit more straightforward. 2 changes to the named starting 15. Out go 5, Colin Ford, and 13, Paul Walsh. And in comes 17, Adam Tierney, and number 18, Ronan Malloy. Referee for today is Jared Anthony Lohan. His linesmen are Ronan McNulty and Jared Hall, and he will come forward here again, and we're about to get action commenced here as well. A bit of movement in the press box, a bit of movement on the sideline. It's a big game, but action has started here in Pearse Stadium. No, false start, in fact. He's just having a toweling off, giving us all an extra little bit of a breather as well. Stay behind the 45, Eddie. You're in a situation like this, you're going to be tearing off the 45s here as well. Looking to see the who has the breeze, and it looks like it will be Oughterard for the first half. So that's an interesting dilemma as action commences.
It absolutely is, and it'll be important for Oughterard to gain an impetus early in the game. Some interesting matchups. One that is of note is the 2 county players, and we can see John Daly and Matthew Tierney right from the off seem to be matched up, and John again and Matthews appear to be quite keeping close company with each other. But again, looking at the Oughterard forward line as well, like a really, really strong. The 2 Monaghan's at Matthew Tierney at 11, and with Paddy Walsh is a good outlet at 14. Ronan Malloy has come in as well, and you also have Niall Lee. So that's a very strong forward line, and playing into the big breeze, Mountbellew will need to ensure that they curtail any supply of ball going into them forwards.
Yeah, so it's an early injury, an early stoppage. No real action has started. The only thing to write note of is the rain seems to be getting a little bit closer here as well, and join us in the action. It's difficult situations like this, because the cynical part of your brain is, firstly, you wish the player who looks like it's Tony Shields, who's up on his feet, But it certainly will favour Mountbellew Moylough if this first half is stop start. It's playing the game management, I guess, is the correct word, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And I'm sure Ger will be conscious of that given the big breeze, and he'll have to watch that. But it is, game management is key, and it can be the big difference if it is a tight game at the end. So
here comes the first reel of attack at Noden. It's a very difficult attack, and it is James Foley coming through. He is the change, so it just Michael Foley does not start in goal. Looks like James Foley there, Eddie. That solves that little bit of a scramble. They were all a little bit confused prior to the match, but that looks like Jason Foley out there, who will, you would imagine, have a lot of play in the first half, running into a Salt Hill breeze.
Yeah, James Foley is pivotal, obviously inter-county experience. He'll be pivotal for Mountbellew, and a good start for him. Their first attack should yield their first score.
This is difficult though for Barry here, isn't it? It's, while it is on the 21 left of centre, left-hand post, you have to hit this sweet or the ball will come back in your face almost. Look at the breezes here, the flags. But Barry McHugh, never really a doubt, was there?
Good strike, yeah, but again, the fact that he's kicking it from the deck, it gives him that bit of an advantage. If you're taking it from the hands and putting it up, it brings the breeze into it. So good score for Barry McHugh, and he'll be delighted to have settled with a good score.
So kick out is taken quickly out in the middle of the pitch. It's Mountbellew Moylough who charges, shields, stretches. It's going to be picked up over there by Matthew Tierney. Good important intervention straight away into proceeding straight away. There's another player down injured as well. It's that type of day, and another stoppage. This time it looked like Colin Donoghue has just got the receiving end of a ruck type situation out in the middle of the pitch. So it's Mountbellew Moylough leading by a point to no score. That free in the opening couple of moments, the only score of action so far. Oughterard now, well, probably the first thing they need to do is get a press, this little bit of a press here as Ronan Malloy gets possession from the right hand side. Understandably, pretty deep, a pretty structured setup. We did notice Fergal O'Donnell's side look highly impressive at times. That's a stray ball down the line, then it gives possession back, and John Daly now. He's going to do a lot of this, you would imagine, leading from the back. Billy Manny now, the clever little hand pass over towards the right-hand side. To paint the picture, Eddie, you've been out here many a times. When you are getting the ball so deep in your half, to know that you need to go past the opposition and the elements as well, it's a pretty daunting challenge.
It is difficult, and it will be. They'll most likely try to run it as much as possible. Mountbellew are a good running team, to be fair. In that instance, Oughterard will be disappointed. They forced the kick into the inside line. Interestingly enough, whether he's carrying a knock, he's heavily strapped. Enda Tierney appears to be in a more advanced role than his number 8 jersey would suggest, so he's occupying in around the full forward line. So that'll be an interesting dynamic to see how that develops over the course of the first half.
Position out for Mountbellew Moylough. Definitely started the better, found some room over on the right hand side. Finnerty goes back on his left. It'll be a wonderful reinduction to his side. Has he got it? He has. The umpire reaches for his flag. One of the best club footballers that we've seen in recent years. Had a little bit of a trip away, but certainly back now.
Yeah, great score from Owen, and having been involved in the squads over the course of the last first two rounds, he'll be delighted to have come in and started. I think he was carrying a knock in the earlier rounds, but as we come to the later stages, he'll be a pivotal player for Mountbellew. Like you touched on, one of the best club footballers in the recent seasons, and it was so pivotal when they did win the Frank Fox.
So kick out now comes from Kieran Noon. He's gone central for the second occasion, up to Tierney, gets a punch on it. It's going to break behind, but there's Billy Mannion to read it. One interesting question, Eddie, where we saw both scores around the 21-yard line, left and right, one from a place ball, one fine score from Finnerty. Where is that shooting zone down to the goal, down to our left?
Yeah, it looks more or less in the inside arc, really, around the inside arc, or maybe slightly inside it. The likes of Barry McHugh is an excellent place kicker. He'll have an extra yard than most kickers, but probably around that inside D. There won't be, I don't foresee that there'll be any 2 points.
That would be quite a challenge, wouldn't it?
Yeah. The RS end.
So here comes Mountbellew Moylough. As you said, it's definitely started the better, come up to 5.5 minutes of action. They lead Oughterard by 2 points to no score, but playing against a gale. Thankfully the rain looks like it's going to threaten at times, with a bit of sunshine is starting to peek through the clouds here in Salt Hill. And now on come the attacks again, as they keep the width on it. In field now it comes from Neo Dolan, who's covered a good bit of ground. Still Dolan has a couple of shoulders. One of those is Colin Ryan. Colin Ryan shoots at the right, and it's a blistering start from the Bees. Lead by 3 points to no score. 6 minutes gone. They're making a bit of a mockery out of the elements out there.
Yeah, really, really good score. Leo Donnan was pivotal there, but Billy Mannion in a more advanced roll in around the middle of the pitch was picked up the loose ball into Leo, who's a really strong runner, physically quite strong. Played the ball into Colin Ryan, who put it over with his right foot. Nice score, and 3 points to no score. Oughterard really will need to start to settle a little bit quicker.
Well, they have won their first kick out. I think 1 out of 3 for them so far. Now possession is Ronan Malloy. Is one of the few Oughterard players to get a couple of possessions so far. It's very patient build up. They're not going to rush it here as well, but haven't really got into the Mountbellew half at all. One straight pass early doors was pretty much as far as it gone. You look up, very rugged 3-3, almost 3 set up defensive shape from Mountbellew down to our far side. There's a little bit of a zonal there as well as man to man as well, but they are certainly blocking up a lot of the spaces, and there's nobody really inside the 21 on the left hand side of the pitch here as well. I see Tierney making a belated run in towards the edge of the square, so that will be an area option in a couple of moments. Up comes Paddy Walsh now over on the right hand side. It's just outside the 45 though. Mountbellew will be happy the way they're pushing out. And it comes across now towards Eddie O'Sullivan, and he hand passes it across now towards Ronan Malloy, and now out in turn it comes to Niall Lee. Clever little boot pass there, takes out a huge amount of the side there as well. Adam Tierney, though, second occasion, does get possession back towards Paul Walsh now, just outside the 2-point zone, over towards the right hand side of the goal. Two players almost getting each other's way there, but Ronan Malloy does keep possession free side, gets a 1-2, and onwards goes a hand pass. This is a bit more clever. The option now comes across from Ryan Monaghan, and will he shoot from distance? It's inside the 2-point arc. It'll be a fine score if he gets it. It looks good, but it's just tailed off towards the left hand side and wide. Did hear a little bit of a roar straight away, usually an indication that things are on track, but that one tailed off, and an early change taking place here. Eric Lee in on the just coming up to, what are we gone, almost 8 minutes of action. Change taking place. It doesn't appear to be an injury either, Eddie, which is a slightly surprising. And it's Caldona. So Caldona, perhaps, I beg your pardon, he was got a clatter, say, underneath the first kick out.
He did seem to, and he looks to be getting some treatment from the physio. So
yeah, the boot is off straight away. Is never a good sign. So
it appears to be an injury there. But Eric Lee is a really good replacement to come in, whether it's a temporary substitution or full. It looks like it's a full substitution. Obviously, you wouldn't like to be playing your hand that early, but Eric is a good addition to be able to bring off the bench. Yeah, well, he's had no injury look at all since he's joined. I think he's from Offaly originally. I believe he had a knee injury. I think last year missed a huge chunk of the campaign. Definitely forced out quite early in the game here. 9 minutes gone here in Pearse Stadium, where it's Mountbellew leading Oughterard by 3 points to no score. They are playing against the elements, but they're certainly Fergal O'Donnell's side have started the better. They forced another turnover there, and now they restart with this free kick, and John Daly now has options over towards his left hand side, goes with the punch pass, and Leo O'Donnell moves across now towards James Foley, who will look up, and as we touched on a couple of moments ago, will carry a lot of grounds. You're almost looking at rugby stats at times for players, as Brian Noon even hits a bit of traffic, does well to keep possession, finds Foley again, across towards Ryan, who got their third score of the game. It was a beautiful team effort. Now he goes outside to the right. This might work now inside as it spins across. Finnerty's there. He's going to leave it for McHugh. McHugh goes across on the shoulder, backwards towards Finnerty. Similar position to where he got his first point of the game. Heads in towards the corner, now breaks towards goal, and Finnerty found half a yard. Might get a shot away here, comes across his shields, hits traffic, scoops the ball backwards. A good turnover at the back from Oughterard. Now they're under duress as they try and scumble the ball out. The ball just bounces away. High challenge comes in for Barry McHugh, and that'll be the sole on the goal. But Oughterard belatedly, Eddie, got a fine turnover, an important one as well, I would suggest. Turnover was important because it did look like Owen Finnerty was bearing down a goal, and it's definitely a point scoring opportunity, if not a goal, and a good turnover. And now Oughterard are on the attack on the other end. Yeah, Eric Lee with his first possession of the game pops the ball backwards towards Niall, and then it's picked up in turn by Ryan Monaghan, who boots the ball into our central zone towards Paul Walsh. Runners from the depth are a little bit options, and he sprays it over towards the left hand side. A bit of open country on the far side of the pitch, coming forward here. And it gives options in turn over towards the left hand side, where it is Eddie O'Sullivan gets possession. Backwards it comes towards Matthew Tierney. Tierney now looks up, looking around for options, goes back on the left. He can shoot from distance as well, but he's been cleverly forced onto his right side. Forces through the hands, where it's picked up by Niall Lee now. Lee, will he go for two? Looks like he will. He's from downtown. Looks like he has the distance, as of the accuracy. The umpires look at each other, and the first 2-pointer of the game. And it's a beauty from distance.
The first score Oughterard get makes it a 1-point ball game. It was nearly worth the wait, Eddie.
Absolutely great score, and you could see there the impact that Matthew Tierney has. He occupied and sucked in Billy Mannion, who was tagging him in that particular attack, and then drew him out, and a really good score from Niall Lee. He has that within his locker, and that'll give Oughterard good confidence, and a score that they really did need, having started quite slowly in the first 10 minutes.
Okay, so this is a possession here, Eddie. It's a free. What are we saying? 55 yards out or so? Matthew Tierney is thinking about getting this high and letting the breeze do its work here.
Yeah, I think it's well within his range. It'll be a massive kick, but if he connects and the breeze can carry it, I think it's within his range. It'll be an accuracy will be the bearing, in my view.
So here comes Matthew from all the way out. He's very close, in fact, to the 65. Over on the right-hand side of the pitch, in front of a non-watching stand here, strikes it. It's going to tail towards the left. Can it be kept in play? No, it's headed out. And I suppose the question we asked was, could you get the accuracy? You're tending to force those ones a little bit, aren't you, as well, particularly from that distance?
And on reflection, it probably was a little bit outside his range. He did look to force it. He kicked it so hard that the curl was never going to bring it around.
So just see Colin Dunne, who's starting to jog up and down in front of the pitch here as well. So trying to see if he can be reintroduced into action. Action will come best with Damien Boyle now, who the breeze nearly catches this one and blows it slightly backwards. And it's a fine catch over there from Oughterard, who started to win the last couple of kickouts. As now they go backwards to Tierney, pretty much turning into the quarterback for the side so far, as a couple of options across. Now where Eric Lee picks up possession and runs at the Mountbellew defence. Across it goes towards Niall Lee. Will he go for a gain? He thought about it. He might give the give and go, but he's been shielded off. Across now towards Eric Lee in field. It goes now towards Ronan Malloy, looking for options. Tries to get Tierney coming through, but it's a good combination of defence there as well, and they do have the advantage now as Mountbellew try to build from deep. It's a stray ball. It's intercepted by Colin Buckley. And comes across now and gets his side on the attack with Niall Lee. Their only score so date over on the right-hand side. Hand passes the ball down the line towards Ryan Monaghan. Monaghan now comes forward, goes back on the left, thought about taking the shot, hits a lot of traffic. And it's a choke defence almost here from Mountbellew, and they're happy with that turnover, Eddie.
Yeah, good turnover. 3 men occupied him, and John Daly comes away with the ball. I think Ryan had a chance if he'd fancied it on the left foot and well within his range, and he just hesitated and drew himself into the 3 defenders. So and it's a good turnover for Mountbellew. Yeah, coming up to 40 minutes gone here in the first half. Lively enough games so far, despite the challenging weather conditions. It's Moylough who lead Oughterard by 3 points to 2. Shields now has to duck and dive a good bit, but he's been forced over. Have they got the benefit of the sideline ball? He has just about, but we're starting to see both defences really start to heat it up a bit. Yeah, they have. There's a lot of good turnovers, to be fair, from the last Mountbellew attack to the last Oughterard attack. 2 good turnovers for defences, and it's going to be quite a tight, tedious game. Probably tighter than I expected. I thought it might be more free-flowing given Oughterard's long-range shooting ability in this first half, but it does appear to be quite tight and tentative. So on comes Mountbellew on the attack here with Colin Mannion. Mannion goes across now towards Leo Donlan, and they decide to keep possessions on the football. Across towards Foley, seen a lot of balls so far. Colin Ryan is all the way free inside. Ball gets to him, it is, and Ryan's already got one. Will he try and go through? He might even try and force a goal here. Towards the left-hand side, they go back towards the central zone. Shot comes in, Billy Mannion, it's saved. What a save by Noon in the goal mouth. An important interception. The ball was central, still needed a good save. Shot comes in at the second occasion as it tails a good bit off. Keeps in play though, the breeze swirls it across and they keep possession this period of attack. Still not danger averted for Oughterard, but a fine save there, Eddie. Really good save, Kieran Noon, a vital, and if that goal went in, I know it's early, but it looks like the margin of lead would be very hard to pull back given the size of the breeze they're playing against, but a really good ball in by James Foley into Colin Ryan. Inch perfect. Billy Mannion on the run, but he probably hit it straight at Kieran, but he did still stand strong, and Billy will be disappointed not to have found the net. James Foley, the second occasion, the last couple of moments he's done well not to overkill the ball. Leo Donnell has to give it back towards Foley again, who skips out of that one so cleverly. Cross towards Ryan, and it's Foley and Ryan in particular that have the huge amount of possessions for the Moylough side so far. Nice skip from Finnerty, plays the ball towards Ryan again, just outside the 45. Finnerty now, normally he would think about shooting from here. He won't with the elements as he runs over to a pretty empty terrace. Backwards it goes now, it's picked up by Michael Kelly, and they will go to reset again as they come forward.
And it comes back now again over towards the right hand side. Finishing now, going for a run. Certainly doesn't look like a player that's been away for a long time. Runs into the corner, has to be careful. Bodies are everywhere. And somehow he spins out the far side with possession of the football. No, quite sure how he got it. You'd have been proud of that one yourself, Eddie.
Done well. I thought maybe the ref was going to blow it for overcarrying, but he probably just had half a step left.
Ryan would have look at that for a boomer of a pass there. Comes across now towards Colin Mannion. Gives the ball in field. Onwards a go. Can they get the shot away? Needs to spin around. The shot might come in the end. It's taken. Has it got the accuracy? It hasn't. It's tailed out. It's one of those opportunities where you really have to give it the welly despite you being so close to goal.
Yeah, again, had to force it a little. It was quite tight. The umpire was unsure, and that'll show you it was quite tight, but I think the right decision. It tailed out a little to the left and wide. First wide for Mountbellew.
You touched on it there a couple of moments ago, Eddie. It's turned into a really, really intense, lively game.
It certainly is, yeah, and it's the tackles seem to be the key elements of the game, the tackles and the turnovers. Oughterard seem to be getting a measure though in around the middle. Good win there of a mark from Matthew Tierney. Enda won the last kick out, so be interesting to see. Billy Mannion is obviously a real strong leader in the Mountbellew side, and we know the influence he has on that group. He's in around the middle as well, and Leo Donlan, so that'll be an intriguing battle to watch over the course of the next.
So shot comes in. Niall Lee trying to go for his second 2-pointer of the game. This one's going to bounce out harmlessly enough wide in the end. As the scoreboard remains a 1-point advantage for Mountbellew Moylough. 3 points to 2. 17.5 minutes gone. Oughterard, without going too overboard in the last missed opportunity a couple of moments ago. Patience on the football, shooting from the right spot. They've had a couple of rashed, you would say, 2-point efforts.
Yeah, probably forced the last two Matthews free. He obviously fancied it, but Niall there probably forced it, having scored a 2-pointer earlier, had the confidence to take it on. But again, they probably need to just, if it is a 2-pointer, it'd have to get in around the arc rather than outside the 45.
Billy Mannion, again, had a very impressive campaign so far from Mountbellew Moylough. Won a fine turnover there. Got a bit of a jaunt there off Paddy Walsh and takes the sole on the goal. Gets his side up the pitch so far. Might have been a little bit cynical at the start, saying Mountbellew Moylough might just try and wind down the clock a lot. They've been very front-footed on their possession of the football so far.
They have, and have probably had more possession. They've been the better team in the first half, wind and elements aside. They've probably had more turnovers. Billy Mannion and Leo Donlan getting on a lot of ball in around the middle, and then inside Barry McHugh obviously very impactful, as is Owen Finnerty, having returned to the side today.
And then Jason Foley as well, who's coming flying forward, hits a good challenge and deemed that he ran into James Webb there, and Oughterard, you feel like, will want to get this motoring pretty quickly, make use of the elements. Huge amount of room upside now here in the central zone as they go across towards the left hand side now. Into our central zone comes Niall Lee, gives it towards Tierney outside the 45, thinking about going for one. No, you might even think trying to get a green flag. Hits all types of traffic there as well, and just swarmed up by the bees in the end.
Again, a really good turnover.
Bodies everywhere there. He's given a free in, I think, Eddie.
Yeah, a free in. I think a stray pass, having won a good turnover and rightly got the toe there, and he was tripped. So should be a relatively easy free on the inside arc for Matthew Tierney to the right of goal. Perfect for a left footer. Yeah,
would level it for the first time here. It was a quick start for Mountbellew Moylough. They lead by 3 points to no score after 6 minutes. 6 minutes later, then we had that fine Niall Lee 2-point effort, but they're the only score so far, an individual 2-pointer, as it is Eric Lee who won that free side, back up on his feet. Now here comes Matthew Tierney to try and get his first one of the game. Tie things up, as we said. It should be bread and butter. He has the breeze and his back. He's over on the right hand side, just outside the 21, in front of the stand, as he looks up with 20 minutes gone on the clock here in the first half, and he makes no mistake and levels things up. 3 points apiece, and game very much on, even this early in the game, Eddie. Very difficult to call this one.
An important 10 minutes for Oughterard. They have a breeze there, have come back now from being 3 down early on and are 3 all, so 10 big minutes coming up for them. They'll need to add an extra 3 or 4. They'd want to lead going in at half time, and this 10 minutes will be important for them.
Ballpark figure, could you put what would be your perfect sweet spot of advantage with those elements?
I'd be thinking more, I'd say 4 or 5, maybe 6 points, just given the size of the breeze. But again, some teams play better against the breeze, but just given the size, and Mountbellew have really good shooters as well.
Barry's going to be fancying that.
Will any free outside the 45 or within 45, he'll be fancying also Owen Finnerty. So with the shooters that they have as well, I think 5 or 6 is probably a fair reflection on the breeze.
So here comes Eddie O'Sullivan now, runs diagonally over towards the terrace, trying to pull out a couple of bodies out of the way. Over towards the central zone now, they come and recycle. It's Adam Tierney. Oughterard been very patient at times on the football. Probably have to be, it is the caveat, with how well set up defensively Moylough have been so far. As Eric Lee spins around, now they get the ball out at this side towards James Webb. He had a fine turnover a couple of moments ago. Comes across towards Matthew Tierney. Thought about shooting perhaps even on the right there at one stage. Sensibly keeps on possession with his side. Niall Lee now infield it goes. And a lot of patience on the football is Ryan Monaghan. Ryan Monaghan now looks around, looking for options. Under a lot of pressure comes in there. Colin Murray in particular was swarming out. But they do have that zonal shape. They are pretty much going man to man as well. It's a fine, well-tuned hybrid setup at the moment here defensively from Mountbellew. But what have Oughterard up their sleeves as Webb's come through up in country, finds half a yard. Can he get a shot away? Across it goes, and it's picked up over there by Paddy Walsh. Paddy Walsh coming straight through, gets possession of the ball. It scrambles around, it's hot potato stuff. And I think it's Owen Boyle who's going to come out of the bottom of what you can only describe as a ruck in the end. One of those moments where you thought it opened up and then the defence comes right in their face.
Yeah, James Webb done well, but again Mountbellew are really good defensively in this first half. Well set up, 2 banks and 3 and a sweeper, and it's working well, and they're getting bodies in around. A good turnover, probably a soft free in the end, but a good turnover for Mountbellew. Yeah,
judging by the flags as well, Eddie, it looks like the breeze is intensifying there as well. It's certainly not getting any weaker. You can see as well this attack is a little bit slower perhaps as well, but a case of tie everything down around this situation here. But on this scoreboard, it's 3 points apiece. Mountbellew trying to go against the elements here. They'll have to work a lot because they're all the way in the Boris and the Traw. Tries to go with the switch pass. It comes across. It does find Barry McHugh. He's going to take it now. Left hand side of goal. Can he get back on that trusty right? Just decides to go first time. No messing about at all from Barry McHugh. Just like a wizard there. Gets the ball. Do you know what? I'm just going to get it. Stand, swing that trusty right boot, and why not? 4 points to 3 there in front.
Lovely score, but again, the vision of Owen Finnerty down the terrace end to find Barry in acres of space on the stand side. He didn't take his man, and he didn't need to. He backed himself, and a lovely score off his right. That's his second of the game.
They used to talk about David Beckham never beating a fullback, just get the ball in first time. There's a bit of a similar mentality there as well. Yeah. I'm not going to waste any energy here, just swing and let fly. But they're on the attack again. Colin Ford carried a lot of balls so far. Question marks there from the Oughterard defence in particular. Had he taken too many steps? Does give it off for McHugh. Now across it goes towards Colin Mannion. Again over that Orson Board and the Traw end. Will they try the switch again? But McHugh and Finnerty, as we watch this attack come forward, we'll talk about that in a couple of moments, because the attack looks a little bit danger here, and it's John Daly coming through, punches it infield. It should have been caught there from Leo Donnelly. He skipped it out, and now come Oughterard with their turnover. But there's a free been given there, a bit of a nick off the ball. But McHugh and Finnerty in particular, the two old boys, the warriors inside, that carried the can so many times over the years, they look like they're on the same wavelength yet again.
Certainly, and they've played for years together at the highest level. But I suppose one thing that's prevalent here, and it's very obvious, is the impact to the half-back line of Mountbellew. So you have James Foley at 5, John Daly at 6, and Colin Ryan at 7. They've been the springboard for a lot of the attacks for Mountbellew, and have curtailed what we would say is one of Oughterard's strongest lines in the half-forward line.
Into Tierney going for a 2-pointer, and just like that, what a strike from the midfielder. Again, just like he's going for a cruise on a Saturday afternoon. No messing around, puts the ball to boot, lets fly. A glorious strike, and it's Oughterard in front for the first time.
Yeah, big score, and we did say they need to go in at half time leading, but that's a massive score from Enda Tierney. Heavily strapped on his right knee. It has been strapped for he has been having issues with that. He's caught a few kickouts as well. He's done well. Enda obviously has played with Galway in the past, Matthew's brother, but he has that in his locker to be able to strike scores from distance, and if he gets an opportunity in the last 5 minutes, I'm sure he'll be having a go.
Yeah, we talked about the Barry McHugh strike there a couple of moments ago, but that was every bit as good.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's two pointers from Oughterard. They have it, like we said, they have the ability. All of their forwards can score from range. James Webb then, and Enda when he's out there, Ronan Malloy as well, is sort of hovering around the middle of the pitch, having started inside. So again, they've a nice platform, but again, will need to build on the lead now, having taken the lead for the first time.
So here comes Oughterard. We're coming up to 4 minutes of normal time. You would anticipate that we will have a couple of moments extra as well. We had a couple of stoppages, one in particular that saw Caldona have to make way in the first half. A few more as well on the Moylough side. But Oughterard now are keeping patience as the ball is sprayed across from right to left here from Eric Lee. Certainly the goalkeeper Kiernoon isn't happy with what he's seen in front of him. He has a bird's eye view. His action commences down the rock garden end. Here comes a free shot at goal as a shot is coming in. This one might be a bit short. It's wide, so we'll go back on the free. It's going to be close to the 21 by the time Jared Anthony Nolan indicates where the free is going to be taken from. So you'd imagine it will be Niall Lee, you would anticipate here with the right boot.
With the right, and he looks to be standing over it. Jared Lohan is marking his spot, so again, should be, you'd expect, Niall's third point of the game.
So this would give them a 2-point advantage. Their latest second 2-pointer there from Enda Tierney put them in front for the first time just a couple of moments ago. So this to try and get that buffer that they would desire, come up to half time with the breeze on the back. It's a strike low, but it has the enough distance, and Niall Lee extends out his side's lead, and it's a hell of a lot better now, the scoreboard from a Oughterard perspective. 6 points to 4 is their advantage.
6-4, yes, and having been 3 down after 10 minutes, they've regrouped quite well, and having lost a player as well to injury, it was obviously unfortunate for them, but they've regrouped and settled 2 points up and have finished the half a lot better than Mountbellew, and will be happy. And Dermot Lee will obviously know that this breeze is there, and they'll have to set up differently in the second half to try and curtail what we've touched on is a really strong offensive unit from Mountbellew, Moylough.
And Oughterard are coming flying forward again, and there is options here with Keane Monaghan. Keane Monaghan's going to loft this one over the maroon spot here as well. And it's Oughterard who are just about finishing the half with a little bit of a pomp here as well. Another fine score, and significantly as well, Eddie, they're starting to do a bit of damage on the Moylough kick-out.
They are. They've been really good on the kick-out, have won. The big men out there, and they seem to be getting the upper hand there with Enda Tierney, who had retreated inside, advanced inside early in the game, has come out, and he's won a few kick-outs. He's been good at putting a lot of pressure on Damien Boyle, who normally has an excellent record on his kick-outs. We saw out in Tuam a few weeks ago, he hardly lost one when they played in the earlier round against Salt Hill, I think.
So it's one of the people that have had the most impact on this modern game of football. I just got a ping here. Jim Gavin officially entered the race for the president. He's certainly left his mark on the game of football. So it'll be an interesting to see how that new side career will go. Everything he seemed to touch seems to turn to glass. Eddie, don't worry, I'm not going to put you on the spot here as well. I do know your other string to the bow as well. So certainly we'll focus on the football. It's
definitely a good candidate. I met Heather Humphreys myself last night. Another good candidate. So lots of good people going forward for what is a really important role.
Definitely, you would say, on the football, all joking aside, the impact that he's made, particularly on days like today as well. This is probably where you see I suppose the key impacts of the rule changes, because prior to this you'd have just parked inside the 14 pretty much.
Well, certainly, yeah, and he had a massive impact in his Gaelic football. Most certainly needed it, we all knew that, and it's had a massive impact and definitely to the betterment of the game and increased the spectacle for everyone.
So we're about to start 2 minutes of addition time here at the end of the first half. That currently sees Oughterard, who are lucky not to give away a free there. I thought it might have been touched on the servers. They're leading by 7 points to 4. They're on the attack here again. Adam Tierney spins it around a couple of occasions. Ryan Mono now gets it, and they're holding keep ball. Eric Lee will come across now outside the 45 and runs across the width of the post of the 45 even. Matthew Tierney now is tagging on John Daly. He's going for one downtown. This would gloss a second half. Has he got the accuracy? It looks good. It is. Well, they'll talk about that on the dinner table, but it's certainly Matthew Tierney this time gets his side third 2-pointer of the game. And there's your 5-ish, definitely 5-point advantage with the elements that Germans Lee desperately desired.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, Enda Tierney, Niall Lee, and now Matthew Tierney with 3 2-pointers, and that's more or less the difference between the sides here in the first half. And they needed it, to be honest, and they started the game slowly, but have settled in and been the dominant team over the course of the last 10 minutes with the second half, the first half.
Oughterard though don't look like their race has run so far. I'm watching out here, Fergal O'Donnell bellowing on instructions in front of us. I think he wants the half to be blown straight away, but there is another minute, another opportunity for Oughterard to try and finish this half with a gloss before they think about their game plan for the second half. Over on the left hand side they go, and I think it's a 3-on-3 breach. It is, because I just see, I know there's an injury over here on the far side. So is there there's definitely 3-on-3 in terms of players. I'm not quite sure, do they not see the injured player over by the sideline here as well? Looks like it is an injury that's going to force one of the Moylough players out of the game. It just looked like Owen is ill now. That is a cruel blow. We're talking about how good he played since he's come back. But straight away, I see Darren Newell thrown off a bib here as well. And whatever about the last couple of moments of the first half for Oughterard show that they have an abundance of sharp shooters in the team, that do see them lead by 5. Losing on Finnerty would be a cruel blow.
Massive loss, and we just touched on the elements we've actually spoke about it at length in the first half, but Owen Finnerty stroked over a lovely score with his left foot in the first half, and he definitely would have had such a big impact with the breeze. He could kick, like we touched on Barry McHugh, he could kick from anywhere outside the advanced arc, and a big loss. And we'll have a big bearing on the second half.
It certainly will, yeah.
Having been forced off.
Here comes Oughterard, of course. It was an indirect free kick, so they couldn't shoot first. Here comes Eric Lee, and he's nailed it. Oh, they're finishing with a bang here, Oughterard. Maybe they didn't want a half-time telling up, but all of a sudden, what was a very even game, and at times you would say Moylough shaded the game for large periods, particularly the opening quarter. It's a game of 2 quarters so far, but Oughterard all of a sudden lead by 10 points to 4. Wow, the game of football, we touched on Jim Gavin and the impact that he has in the game. You see it here in full benefit, how a game can swing when a team hits a sweet spot.
Yeah, really good finish for Oughterard. We touched on the breeze, the 5-6 points. They have their 6-point lead, and they'll be delighted, to be honest, going in, given the fact that they hadn't really played for large parts. The first 10 minutes we touched on that they lost a player as well, Cahill O'Donoghue, really unfortunate to go off. But that said, I don't think Mountbellew will be too downbeat either, albeit Owen Finnerty's a big loss going off. This game is still very winnable, and it's very much could be won by either team, but it'll be interesting to see how Oughterard set up in the second half. We touched on their forward unit, how it's a strong forward unit. We see Ronan Malloy has come in, he was in around the middle. Will he retreat a little bit further back? I'd expect he will. So it'll just be interesting to see the setup they deploy in the second half to try and protect the lead, but in protecting it they'll have to be conscious that they'll still have to score in the second half as well. Mountbellew were going to get 2 pointers, they're going to come back at it, so it has the makings of a really good second half after starting quite slowly. Yeah, the rain has come in here, perfect timing for half time as we watch the sad sight of Owen Finnerty hobbling his way back in as well. Can only imagine how much personal blood, sweat and tears he put into getting back for his beloved Moylough. Was absolutely staring out there, but has been forced off. That is a cruel goal. It looks nasty. Doesn't look muscular because he's not walking too well, and he's been linked in. John Mellett is sports physio there as well, and another mentor, so he's been brought in by both. Looks like maybe knee or ankle from what I can see, and looks in a lot of pain. That left ankle doesn't look too hot there, doesn't it? He's kind of very unfortunate for him. He's coming back from Australia, was out for the first few rounds, having come back and carrying an injury, and it's a big loss, not just today but just later in the championship, because we know Mountbellew are going to be playing in a preliminary quarter-final regardless. Both teams will, but so it'll be a massive loss. Yeah, so it is fascinating team talks taking place underneath us here in Imperial Stadium. Both camps have a hell of a lot to think about in the second half. Do stay with us. We'll leave you with some halftime highlights. We'll be back very shortly for the second half to come here in Imperial Stadium. But the halftime scores sees Oughterard lead Moylough by 10 points to 4. Started the better, found some room over on the right hand side. Finnerty goes back on his left to be a wonderful. He's covered a good bit of ground. Still Donlan has a couple of shoulders. One of those is Colin Ryan. Colin Ryan shoots at the right. By now Lee now. Lee
Will he go for 2? Looks like he will. He's from downtown. Looks like he has the distance, as of the accuracy. The umpire's looking at him, and he is, and Ryan's already got 1. Will he try and go through? He might even try and force a goal here. Towards the left-hand side, they go back towards the central zone. Shot comes in, Billy Mannion, it's saved. With 20 minutes gone on the clock here in the first half. And he's going to take it now, left-hand side of goal. Can he get back on that trusty right? Just decides to go first time. No.
Mountbellew and have curtailed what we would say is one of Oughterard's strongest lines in the half-forward line.
Into Tierney going for a 2-pointer. They would desire come up to half-time with the breeze on their back. It's a strike coming flying forward again, and there is options here with Keane Monaghan. Keane Monaghan's going to loft this one over the post of the 45 even. Matthew Tierney now is tagging on John Daly. He's going for one downtown. This would gloss a second half. Has he got the accuracy? Here comes Oughterard. Of course, it was an indirect free kick, so they couldn't shoot first. Here comes Eric Lee, and he's nailed it. You're very welcome back to Pearse Stadium. Both sides are back out for the second half. Oughterard, with the benefits of what you can probably see by the flags out in front of us, a pretty significant breeze, lead Moylough after that first half by 10 points to 4. For large periods, it looked like Moylough had done everything right, but then a flurry. They had 3 2-pointers in the first half, but just a rally of scores coming up towards the half-time whistle, and another blow also, as it looks like Jared Anthony Lohan is looking for an O'Neill size 5 there. Was the loss just before half-time as well of Infinity, who had got a score from Moylough against the Elements, one of those players that you would have anticipated that would be 9 up shooting with the breeze, but he's been replaced by Darren Newell. It was an injury side in the first half. Caldun, who was first off, he was replaced by Eric Lee, who added their 10th point of the game just before half time. And it's Oughterard now, who will be interested to see what way they approach the second half. Win the throw in, and they go on the attack as well. And this is not quite twist or sink or that type of mentality, is whatever way you want to describe it, Eddie. But what do Oughterard do here now as well? Do they try and keep patient on the football, which they can show over the years that they can be quite comfortable, as they seem to have overloaded the left corner forward position here as well? Or do they just try and attack as well? It's a very difficult balancing act, isn't it?
Difficult balancing act. I'd expect they'll stay patient on the ball, get Matthew Tierney in the pocket as much as possible. I see Paddy Walsh appears to have retreated out a little bit from the goal as well, so they're going to try and pack that 65-metre area and hold the ball, and then find the right shooter at the right time and put the ball dead where possible. On the other hand, Mountbellew, they'll be trying to get the ball inside as quickly as possible. Colin Ryan appears to be occupying the full forward berth, which is interesting. He was effective out the pitch in the first half, so obviously that's something that they're going to be looking at in terms of long direct ball. I think Darren Newell has come in for Infinity. He's taken up a position quite advanced as well with Barry McHugh, so it'll be long early ball inside. I think though Matthew Tierney's role in the second half is going to be key. I would expect him to be in around the middle and getting his hands on as much ball as possible and trying to dictate play.
Yeah, Ryan Mona now switched across, but very patient on the football. Like, this is coming up to a minute and a half of solid possession here for Oughterard. I know it's a long way to go to get to the hour mark, but they're certainly showing a lot of patience on the football here now.
Oughterard are good footballers. Montbellew really good in the tackle as well, quite strong as well, probably more physically stronger than the Oughterard side, so they'll try to keep it out of
Eric Lee, though, find half a soft yard coming through, tries to get the first on the second half, just to tally to the last score that he got at the end of the first half. On either side at half time, he's got 2 pivotal scores, you would say, for Oughterard. That extends out Oughterard's advantage now, 11 points to 4, but 2 minutes pretty much just shy of possession from Oughterard. And then Eric Lee finds that soft little shoulder, drives through and gets a fine score, and that certainly gives Oughterard plenty of confidence now for the remainder of the second half.
Score, yeah, patient build up, nearly 2 minutes, and then just found the right man one-on-one. They kept it out of contact for large parts, didn't attract contact like we touched on. I'm not sure, is there's someone down again from Mountbellew, and it doesn't look great. It could be might potentially be a blood sub, I'm not sure, but he is
Tony
injured.
Shields perhaps, that I can see. It's definitely a bit of blonde hair peeking through the physios. There's a bit of movement. Feel like it looks like it is a temporary sub there. Yeah, it's the indication Shields from Jared Anthony Lohan, who more than the players must be half drowned out there, as well as that breeze is starting to come in off the sea. It's bringing a scatter of rain off it here as well. Shields now is making away. I can see pretty intense directions coming in from the Oughterard sideline as well. I was looking across that. I am glad we're up here in the back of the stand. That sideways rain, goalie rain is coming in, joining the elements as well. It's going to make shooting quite difficult in the second half, you would imagine. Still waiting for action to restart here as well. Shields makes his way to the line. Don't see any player, do I, ready to come on in the next. There is a player down in front of us here reaching for a jersey.
Yeah, quite slow getting the player onto the pitch, to be fair, because Tony took a while to come off.
So here comes another attack, comes from a right hand side. Is this one squeezed past the left hand side of post, and you can see the full force of Mother Nature in full flow there as well. So it's Tiernan Proul who's going to come on. I think it's number 2 that I see there coming on. We'll get confirmation on that. It's definitely Tony Shields coming off. Oh no, it's in fact it's Jared Dunno, number 12, that is about to join the action now as well. So the last couple of moments, no it's not, 12 put on his jersey but stood up in the stand as well. So a good bit of confusion on the Mountbellew dugout there in front of us. As do get that change, the wind is howling in front of us here as well. Ooh, now conditions, just to paint a picture for our listeners at home, it is just swarming in. A breeze of moisture in off the Atlantic there as well. Conditions at an all-time high, difficult level. But that's the challenge now Mountbellew have at their backs here, as it's Oughterard leading by 11 points to 4. Infield it comes now with Colin Mannion. He's at traffic back towards Colin Ford. But now Oughterard swarming every channel. Ford is battling there. The ball is out. It's over the sideline and a free out has been given to Oughterard, who are just getting oxygen off those. That's really what the game is all about now, Eddie, isn't it?
Turnover. When we touched on the first half, the first 10 minutes was primarily dominated by turnovers by both sides. Again there, Eddie O'Sullivan, really experienced player in the Oughterard ranks, stood up strong. His man took him on. He stood up and won that duel, and it's a free out now to Oughterard, who have 2 players on the ground receiving treatment.
Nearly need some scaffolding up here as well. Every sort of item is getting blown out of it completely. It's a difficult afternoon here in Salt Hill as we're waiting for that free to be taken. I think it's all sorts of conversations coming around. We're waiting for play to restart. Possession in front of us would end at Tierney, and he's nearly turning around just to avoid the elements if nothing else. More movement on the Moylough sideline here as well. Oran O'Reilly looks like he will come on into the pitch here as well. So I'm not quite sure if that's a direct replacement for a couple of moments ago or if it's a straight swap coming on here. Don't see any player departing around. And so now the so what you would say O'Reilly is, so Tony Shields has come off. So yeah, so just a bit confusing there all around. There was a blood sub kind of in the middle of it, and then they've made a second change. So
yeah, it looks like number 2 might have come on as the blood sub.
Yeah, Tiernan Proud come on, has gone off.
It's now become a permanent change, and they altered the temporary one.
Just keeping us all on. So
number 26, Oran O'Reilly.
Yeah. It's a sad side there. Infinity makes his way up to join us in the second half, this time with crutches, so it's not a pretty sight at all. Mountbellew will need to do this fight back in the second half. This is pretty much a battle for second spot in Group 1 here of the Secours Galway Senior Football Championship. Oughterard are leading by 11 points to 4 with 7 minutes gone in the second half. It's pretty much stop start really in the second half, but Oughterard have the advantage, playing against the elements here in Salt Hill, but looking very composed in possession of the football. Have kept it for large periods of this 7 minutes or so. As they come forward again here is Adam Tierney, and gives the ball backwards where it's picked up by Ryan Monaghan, and just a lot of patience on the football, playing in front of the press from Mountbellew. Very clever player, you would say, Eddie.
Yeah, definitely. We touched on it that they'd probably keep it out of contact, and that's what they're doing. They've really good ball players, Oughterard, and have shown it over the course of the last number of years. Ronan Malloy then really experienced. He's picking up quite a bit of ball as well. Ronan Malloy, that looked like a Mountbellew ball to me, but it seems they have given it the other way. But they're patient and keeping it out of trouble, and the longer this goes on, the more pressure it puts on Mountbellew, and you'd be starting to think they'll need a goal to stay in the game.
Yeah, pretty
get back in it.
Straightforward push there. Goes on Adam Tierney, and this one, it won't really be a shot at a goal. It is on the 45, but one of those where you don't even think about it, as Eric Lee decides cleverly just to punch it down to the corner and gets it back again from the resultant free ball over the top. Now encourages Adam Tierney to come forward, hits traffic, keeps possession on the second occasion, loses. Really difficult conditions, and a tug has been spotted there on the blind side from Jared Nolan, and Mountbellew might have been outside the 4-step zone, but they decide to play on, and they're allowed to proceed here as well. A bit of after the ball down to the corner of our eye, but here comes Colin Ford now. Boots the ball in towards the corner now. First real attack of note in the second half, you would say. It's won by Barry McHugh. He's all the way out in the corner. He goes back on the left, looks up, has options around him, gives it out towards John Daly, who's going for one from distance. And the wind is going to catch this, and it's a fine first score of the second half. And it's John Daly in front of the stand out here. Swings it over the bar after a good ball in initially was won by Barry McHugh. And Montbellew are going to need that, and they're going to need lots more of it, you would imagine, for the remainder of the second half. 5 points now to the 11 of Oughterard.
Yeah, really good score from John Daly. Just stroked it over with his left boot. He's the playmaker really at the back for Mountbellew. We saw in the first round again against Salt Hill how effective he was in that sort of quarterback role. And they'll need more of that from John in the second half if they're going to tuck into this lead that Oughterard have developed.
Now this is a difficult, daunting challenge now here for Kieran Noon, who looks up and made a fine save in the first half. Don't forget how a different game that could have been had Billy Mannion got that first half goal. But the wind and rain is in his face. Gets a wonderful strike of the ball, you have to say. It's a desperately unlucky from his point of view, because he got it out to the 45. He'll be raging at his teammates there as well, because I can't describe just how difficult that kick is there against the elements.
Yeah, it was a good strike of a ball. It did go down on top of a lot of the Mountbellew players, but he did get a lot of trajectory on it and tailed off over the line at the end, but he did get good distance, to be fair. It's important sometimes as well, a score or a wide can be a big thing given the new rules, the press that goes on. So this is an important spell of 5 minutes now for Mountbellew to try and keep the pressure on.
Culimani now plays the ball in field towards James Foley's room over on the left hand side now, and they go through it, and it's Leo Donlan or Billy Mannion in fact comes forward. Will he go for two? He will. He's outside the zone. Has he got the strike? It's out towards the left hand side and wide. Difficult to criticise him from going for that opportunity there as well. It is a huge breeze, but it's still advantage Oughterard, 11 points to 5.
Definitely within his range. I'd say he'll be disappointed not to have got it. It was a good strike, to be fair. Like we touched on, he's well capable of scoring them. He backed himself. Oughterard missed a few as well early on in the first half, so sometimes can take a while just to find your exact range, but again, we look at the kick out. It's an important aspect.
It's left to a scrap. Mountbellew might have it. Good work there with Paddy Walsh, and now there's challenges left, right and centre. Thought that might have been a free potentially towards Montbellew, but what we've left now is about 4 or 5 players down on the ground, and Oughterard coming on the attack, and look at Matthew Tierney running in towards the corner. Couldn't get the pass away. It's almost like a scenario where if you don't like the weather here in Galway, look out at 5 minutes later and have changed. Still have the breeze, but now a bit of sunshine is starting to pick through. Thankfully the rain has dispersed away off. Hopefully it stays out to our left out with the Atlantic. Oughterard now coming forward with possession of the football. Still Orange with a go, and there is room out this left hand side for Eric Lee. Inside the arc, goes back with possession of the football. Back it comes now towards Niley. Niley looks up now. Needs movement over the right hand side of the pitch, you would say. He's just outside the 45. Left hand side, loses possession of the football but gets it back. Has to turn around, bounces the ball off the surface. Doesn't come up straight, but gets it on the second occasion. Now he's found half a little bit shoulder. Encourages Eric Lee to come forward with the ball. He's surrounded by 2 or 3 and he's been gobbled up over there. And it's Colin Murray forced the turnover, and now it's definitely a free. As he bends his back to get possession of the ball, they take it quickly. And Montbellew, they do have to try and chase down this deficit as they come forward now. 12 minutes now gone in the second half, so it's time, you would say, for the Montbellew perspective to get the scoreboard moving, and just the one so far in the second half from their point of view. That effort from John Daly back towards Billy Mannion. He had one gone astray a couple of months ago. This one looks like it's going to go over on the right hand side and wide. So again, that fine balancing act, Eddie, of going for 2 pointers and then snatching them and maybe forcing it a little bit too much. It's very easy to say from up here. In
that instance, I'd say Billy Mannion probably forced it. The other one was more within his range, and there was an Oughterard man coming in to try and get the block on the toe. Colin Murray, good turnover there as well. We know how effective Colin is. He's played, I think, with the university as well at the very high level, and a really good player. So Oughterard will be conscious to keep out of contact where they can, and you see there where they did bring it into contact, it was turned over. So
Michael Kelly now, after Montbellew had won the kick out, boots the ball into towards the corner where it's picked up by Barry McHugh. Turns first time. This one looks good. Is it going to come in? It is. It's just an absolute golf swing from Barry McHugh. Again, fine ball in. They won the kick out. It was well won. Fed out in the middle of the pitch then towards Michael Kelly. Boot the ball into corner, but that strike, we'll never get sick of watching Barry McHugh strike a football. Yeah, lovely score again from Barry McHugh. That's his third today, second from play. If they can get ball into him, he will score, to be fair. Probably need to tighten up a little bit on him. Would be important, because leaving him one-on-one inside, he will do damage. But like we touched on, an important few minutes for Oughterard to make sure that they stay in the ascendancy here, because like we touched on,
pressure can come on the kick out in with the new rules that have been introduced.
So the Oughterard advantage just chipped back to 5 now. 40 minutes gone in the second half. A little bit worrying from their point of view is Moylough. While they do take a couple of occasions to take the free after winning, but they are starting to chip away also at the Oughterard kick out. They have possession now over on the far side of the pitch, in towards the central zone as Kelly gets it again, has Billy Mann into his left, just tries to go towards Mannion in the central zone. Now it comes towards Mannion. He'll already go for 3 in a row, will he? He's looking up. I'd say if he hadn't the 2 wides, he would have let fly there. Instead, moves it through the hands, where it's picked up by Darren Newell. Newell is just been hounded there by a couple of bodies in Oughterard, force a big turnover, a bit of afters there ball as well. As Oughterard want a bit more punishment than the free that they have been awarded. A little bit of a push off there, I think. Didn't seem to be a lot in it. A little bit of a push off from Barry McHugh there as well. Understandably though, you try and milk every situation. It stopped the clock now halfway through the second half. And is there going to be any further punishment? As wait and see, the injured party seems to be up on his feet as well. It looks like Jared Anthony will go in and have a word with his umpires as well to see if they've spotted anything or not. I did see it. I think it's
don't think there's too much.
A little bit of a push off,
yeah.
Perhaps silly, you would suggest, but
didn't appear to be too much in it. But again, given the elements, touching on it, Oughterard are playing the elements as well, and they'll be trying to wind down the clock. We've played 15 minutes, and the ball has been out of play a lot. And it's between injuries and other passages, it has been stopped for quite a long period. He is speaking with Ronan McNulty, Ger Lohan, but I don't foresee that there'll be any major caution here.
He looks like he is calling over
6.
So is he just going to do the standard 2 yellow cards? And see, there's a change about to take place. Connor Noon, I beg your pardon, that is James Lowry, who's coming on for Oughterard. As yellow cards have been flashed there.
Barry McHugh.
It was just Barry, I
think so.
Yeah, okay, well, probably sensible enough in the end, probably the right call. So here comes James Lowry. And it's Ronan Malloy, and Malloy has had a fine game, and I suppose that ovation says it all.
You can see there, obviously, a really experienced player, Ronan, and he rarely loses the ball. He knows exactly how to play the elements, how to game manage, and he's been really good. A really good shift from him for 3/4 of an hour, and like you touched on, the supporters acknowledging his contribution today. Yeah,
so it looks like James Webb will be quickly the London Buses mentality here with a yellow card once been flashed. Indeed it is. Just a little bit of a late hit there on one of the Moylough players. Didn't see a lot of. John Daly is certainly wanting some movement to continue here straight away for his side. So we're just inside the last quarter of the game, if you want to break it down to that regard. 17 minutes now gone in the second half. It's Oughterard who lead Moylough by 11 points to 6. Moylough do have the fairly sizable breeds at their back here in the second half, but so far they've only been able to manage just the 2 scores in it as so far. See, can they do any further damage? Don't forget, in the first half it did look like that Moylough, they were the ones that played the better, probably in the first half for large periods, but Oughterard hit and finished like a train and led at the break by 10 points to 4. Shot comes in from a difficult angle as this one squeezes itself over. The umpires are reaching for the flag, and they have, and that's another vital score from Moylough. 7 points towards 11.
Colin Mannion.
I think it was Colin Mannion as well from that corner, yeah. So a fine strike. Really makes things interesting now. 18 minutes gone in the second half. It's back to 4. The game very much on, and while they haven't got any 2-pointers yet, it was 3 in the first half from Oughterard. There was difference as kickouts are starting to get gobbled up now by Moylough, and they're coming back straight away on the attack forward. Toucher on the ground. Oughterard perspective thought it certainly was. I thought it was still a bit of daylight. We'll see what you think of that either way.
Looked tight, but to be fair, Ger Lohan was right up with it, so he probably had the best view of anyone. And there didn't seem to be too much complaints from the Oughterard players.
It's only him that matters as well, his viewpoint. It sees Moylough on the attack again over on the left hand side. They got a little bit of overload. Can they force back another opportunity? A lot of steps potentially taken. Too many steps indeed, and a big turnover from Oughterard there as well. Because another Moylough score. would have really made things interesting. Instead, it's auctioned back to Oughterard.
Yeah, definitely. We touched on Oughterard having been leading by 6 points at half time. We did say they're going to need to score a bit in the second half. They've only a point, and being straight, I don't think 11 points is going to win the game for either team. So if Oughterard are to push on in the last quarter, they're going to need to score, because I do think there is scores in Mountbellew in the second half. Mountbellew, Moylough.
You can really start to see space starting to develop as well. Particularly, it looks like Moylough starting to squeeze maybe 10 yards higher than they had been in the first half. But it does allow space like this if Oughterard can break the line. Looks like they're trying to do that over towards the left-hand side now. They come. It's back in possession now. Carl Buckley hits a lot of traffic. Has he been fouled there? Potentially not. It's Mannion who's been pulled down. And turnovers.
Good referee by Ger Lohan, to be fair. He gets steps the other side and he's letting a lot go. And it was a good turnover from Mountbellew, Moylough. But like we touched on, I think Oughterard haven't set the tone of keeping the ball. We'll probably need that a little bit more, and we're looking for the likes of Matthew Tierney second in the last quarter to try and find range with the score or two. But still, they are 4 points up, so they'll be happy.
So latest change to take place in the next couple of moments. It's Kieran Tierney. And we'll see now as that change does take place here. And it is Killian Tierney who comes into the possession for Oughterard. It's pretty much a battle here for second place of Group 1. That is the reward for the winners here. And as we looked at the table before the ball is kicked, of course it is Sol Tilloch-Nakara who wrapped up Group points, so it would be advantage Mountbellew Moylough if this finishes the draw as things stand coming into a game. This game they had a score difference of +5 to the even mark of Oughterard, so it comes through and it's a fine save again from Kieran Noon. One in big each half. Big saves at pivotal times from the Oughterard netminder.
Yeah, to be honest, what a long ball in, just misjudged by the full back by Oughterard, left it in to Barry McHugh, and 9 times out of 10 that's in the back of the net. But to be fair to Kieran Noon, he's carrying a large strap on his knee and he looks to have hurt himself, but it's an outstanding save. It looked nailed on a goal for Mountbellew, and if they'd scored that goal, they were most likely going to go on to win the game. So a pivotal moment, and Kieran Noon, while he's getting attention, could very well have won the game for his side with that save.
He might have got a free tattoo there as well on Neil's across his legs there as well, to go with the one that he did in the first half from Billy Mannion. But you're right, when it is Barry McHugh coming through the eye of the gun, a goal there would have made it fascinating, would have made it a 1 point ball game. Instead it will be McHugh comes forward. Now do you try and take greedy here? Clock shows almost coming up to 22 minutes gone in the second half. Do you try and chip it, try and generate a 2? Are you happy to take the 1 from the 45? These are the big moments, Eddie.
Yeah, I think the main thing for Barry is to probably put it dead. I'd expect if it goes for it, it's well within his range, and put the pressure on Kieran Noon from the kick out. So I say he'll be going for the
John Daly was having a little conversation. I think he said just put it over and stop messing around. So. It's probably the right call as well.
They're going to get chances to reel back in this lead, and this is one of them.
So McHugh from the resultant 45 has put it wide. Oh, what a big moment in the game here as we come to the end of this Bon Secours Galway Senior Football Championship Group 1 Round 3 clash, and Oughterard can count their lucky stars a little bit there.
Yeah. Barry McHugh just to the left of the post 45, and I know you touched on John Daly had the word, because to be fair, it's well within his range, and a big strike that, and will have a big bearing on the outcome.
Okay, so Noon's kick out has found the empty terrace on the far side. Doesn't seem to be any more O'Neill's size 5 though there. I see one of the Water Boys has gone sprinting over to get the possession back for Mountbellew Moylough. And they do have it now, but Colin Mannion comes across now towards Jason Foley. Clock now shows coming up to 23 minutes gone in the second half. Oughterard have a 4 point advantage. Mountbellew Moylough with the breeze at the back coming forward. Here's the backdoor cut. Can they get the shot away? Shot is in a difficult angle. Have they squeezed it in? It looks good. It is good. It's gone over the bar, and Mountbellew Moylough get a badly needed score, particularly after that one that went astray a couple of moments ago. It might have been Leo Donlan perhaps, was it, that squeezed that one over. Either way, it is a 3 point ball game. So a 3 point ball game with Still loads of time, 6.5 minutes plus a good chunk of addition time. But Oughterard have just got the far side of that kick out and they've won vital. Have they ran it over the line? No, referee says they're free for the push. I was about to say if the line ball had gone to Mountbellew, Moylough, it would have been a huge swing potentially back.
They've been under massive pressure on the kick out, but Mountbellew, Moylough were in the first half too, and like we touched on, Damien Boyle is usually very prolific on his kick outs. So it just showed the impact that the elements are having on the kick outs, and every kick out and every ball that Oughterard can get their hands on is going to be valuable in this last 6 minutes plus injury.
So Oughterard now, operation keep possession of that O'Neill size 5 with their now 3-point advantage. Coming up to the last 5 minutes of normal time. Here was almost squeezed past as Barry McHugh came flying forward there. Every last inch of his body trying to keep possession of the football in his side, but it's Oughterard now playing keep ball literally on the halfway line over on the right hand side. These are the training ground drills that you do so many times. It's called Buckley is a foul there as well, and he'll take his time as well. Barry McHugh is like a man possessed out there, but he needs to be careful. He's booked as well.
He is booked, yeah.
So free on the halfway line. And Oughterard get another opportunity to get set up here. And would you try and go for that vital score to make it a 2-score game and all that old cliche?
Yeah, I think they probably do need to settle and get a score, and ideally get Matthew Tierney on the ball, or maybe one of the Lee brothers as well. They have the range in them as well. But like we touched on, it probably won't be a 2-pointer. They'll have to get it in around the smaller arc.
Moving through the hands cleverly. Adam Tierney now gives it to a central possession towards Niall Lee. Lee goes down by the left hand side. Possession now with Ryan Monaghan. Monaghan back to James Webb. Webb now trying to take on Colin Mannion and lose possession of the ball, but cross back cleverly, and a little bit fortunate, I thought, that free as well. But clever, experienced player. He definitely cut across the runner as well.
James Webb has been quite effective in the game as well. I know when we played them earlier in the year, he was a threat as well. Done well there now to win the free. Probably on the softer side of things, but again, like we touched on, Ger Lohan probably had the best view of it, so was happy to give it.
So here comes Oughterard again. They lead by 3, coming up to 4 minutes of normal time left here in the second half at Pearse Stadium. Mountbellew, Moylough have the breeze, but it's no good to them if they don't have possession, because here comes Niall Lee. He's covered so much ball in the second half, is running through, breaks the 45, and they switch it through the hands nice and cleverly. Tierney gets it again. This time it's Killian, the substitute in the second half, gives it towards James Webb, increasing impact in the last couple of phases of the play in particular. Eric Lee now gets possession ball, lovely little skip around the corner, found half a yard, might have been a tug, there is a tug just inside the 2-point arc. Maybe try to gain another yard or two with the little dive there at the end after the whistle had gone. But this is clever, we might giggle about it, but this is clever, experienced play, games management of the highest quality from Oughterard out here.
Yeah, really good passage of play. I think Niall Lee found Eric Lee, and he backed himself, took on the man, and that was a blatant pullback. He was in for a score, and this is a good opportunity, irrespective of the elements. Matthew Tierney will know that this is well within either his or Niall Lee's range, and a good chance to maybe get the board ticking. Or be interested, will they go short and try and work the angle? But it looks like someone's placing it on the deck. It's not Niall or Matthew. It's another player.
Back a couple of yards, I think he'll be close to the 45. When Jared Anthony Lohan will be happy. Yellow card flash there for that foul by James Foley.
Tierney. So it's going to go short.
Matthew just outside the 45, central zone. Goes over towards the left hand side. We'll get it back again. Keeping possession now is Webb. Drives forward that inside left position. Oughterard bodies come across, but there is James Webb keeping the last couple of moments. Runs after, wins his own pass. There's a body down in field. Tierney loses ball. Will he get it again? There's a ruck situation. What's the referee going to do? Is a touch on the ground? Who's coming out? It looks like Mountbellew somehow have come out there as well. Tigerish defending. Now the Solon goal was stopped. There'll be a change taking place. David Geraghty will come in the next couple of moments. Oughterard look like they're going to do a counter sub as well. But just, that is championship football there, Eddie. Both sets of bodies diving in on top of it.
Yeah, you can see the mentors and the supporters respond to it. It's been one of those games that hasn't been a classic by any means, but it's those dirty turnovers that seem to be the key moments in the game that appear to stand out. And the clock is ticking down, but I'd expect, given some of the stoppages, that we'd have at least 4, if not 5
Yeah, I was
minutes.
just about to say that, Eddie. You'd anticipate that they were close to 5, so nearly a bit added on as well.
I think that would be a fair estimation, so it'll be interesting to see what the fourth official indicates, but that's what I'd be thinking, given there has been a lot of stoppages for injuries and other incidents.
So it's a free So it's number Colin Mannion who's departed there for Mountbellew by Law. As Oughterard thought about making a change, but have just decided to go as they were for the last minute and a half of possession here as well. Oughterard lead by 3, 11 points to 8. Well, here comes Montbellew with the breeze at their back. Can they get a draw? That would probably be enough from their perspective. It's all about getting second spot of this Group 1 of the Secours Galway Senior Football Championship. Clever little play here, comes through, move with their hands, Colin forward, haven't seen him in a while, he was so busy first half, he's been galled up, boots the ball back cleverly, who's going to get possession of the ball, and it's all of a sudden Paddy Walsh, although he's been turned over. Here comes Barry McHugh pops the ball inside, Leo Donlan across, Leo Donlan puts it wide. Oh my days, what a moment here in Pearse Stadium.
Looked again like a nail on goal, but I think it might have taken a ricochet. I'm not sure who it came off. Was it the goalkeeper?
Will we give him? Yeah, he's going berserk at his defence anyways, but he must appear to get a big hand to that. And that's 3 times he's denied what seemed like certain goals.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been pivotal in the second half. Whether it's him that got the touch, it looked like he had. It looked for me that Paddy Walsh had been fouled going down on the ball, but it wasn't given. It ricocheted in towards the goal. Barry McHugh found Leo Donlan, I think, and it ricocheted out to the right and out for a 45. But a big kick here for Barry McHugh. They will get the 3 chances you'd expect to try to level it, and this is obviously one of them.
So McHugh, he missed his last 45 after being denied by a goal. This time he set up his teammate to be denied by a goal. He takes another resultant 45, and ever the quality and the class of the Montbellew full forward was designed in full flow. He makes it a 2-point ball game as we look all important around how much additional time. 8 minutes of additional time. 8 minutes. This game is far from over, Eddie.
Far from over, 2-point game. We touched on that Oughterard probably would need more than 11. That was my view anyways on it. 8 minutes seems excessive, to be honest. I thought it would be more than 4, maybe 5, but 8 seems high, and the interesting few minutes for both.
And here comes Oughterard on the counter-attack themselves. Here they come forward. Eric Lee has possession of the ball. He's still going. Pops it off the shoulder. Niall Lee comes across. Niall Lee into the back of the net. They'll need more than 8 minutes, you would feel. But Oughterard have gobbled it up, and blistering quality on the counter-attack, but the coolness on the team move, a beautiful finish in the end, but it's all about that team move.
Yeah, what a team move. The quick turnover looked like maybe potentially a touch on the ground, but they did turn it over. And Niall Lee, what composure he showed to back himself and went for the goal. I was wondering would he go for the fisted over, but no, he had the confidence to go and placed it beautifully into the bottom right corner. To be fair, he didn't give Damien Boyle any chance, but it was the composure he showed to side-foot it in.
So surely now it's all out attack from Montbellew as they drive forward. Might have been a free there, referee says no. There's another turnover, and it is, and just look at Oughterard. They're finishing this first half, second half, just like they finished the first.
Yeah, big turnover again, and you can hear the significance of it. The crowd are on their feet, and rightly so. A really good turnover, and like we touched on, they're the big moments, but just shows how fickle and how delicate the lead was. Leo Donlan had a real good chance, as had Barry McHugh in the last 5 minutes, but Niall Lee, Oughterard, had one good goal chance, and they took it, and that ultimately is the difference.
And the goal scorer in possession of the football this time. He has to be careful. He's been turned over this time, and he's going to pull down, take the free. Referee's given the advantage. Montbellew coming charging forward here as well, trying to get some damage on the scoreboard. Onwards they come, still going outside the 14. Backwards they go possession, trying to work a 2-pointer would seem. Turnover comes in over there, but they do keep possession. Barry McHugh pops the ball in towards the corner, shot from a difficult angle, and it's gone out towards the left hand side and wide, and Oughterard stand with their chests out again. 111 to 9 points, and we've played almost 3 of the 8.
Yeah, another wide there from Montbellew, and probably had to force it as well. They need scores, and they're running out of time, and at this stage you would have to think, having scored that goal, it looks like it's Oughterard that are going to see out this and win it. And you couldn't argue they probably were the better team of the course, but there were some major incidents that ultimately went in their favour, and that was their goal scoring chances versus Mountbellew missing theirs. And to be fair, Ciarán Noon was pivotal in preventing 3 of those.
Go on, say it. Goals win matches.
Goals win games, for sure.
It's looking like that at the moment. It's a all credit will go to Niall Lee for the finish in the end. But the turnover, I think it might have been Matthew Tierney initially that led to the first one.
Yeah, Matthew Tierney on John Daly, I think. So we touched on it before the throw-in that was going to be a key matchup. And while, okay, they haven't been as prevalent as we would have expected, but it was a real big matchup and one of the key moments. Obviously, one has, what you think, given Oughterard a great chance of seeing out this game and securing second spot in the group.
They might talk about that in Loch George later on in the year when they go back in the room, but it's all about the club colours at the moment. As Mountbellew come on the attack again, they really need a goal, you feel. Can they get the shot in? Moving through the hands quickly. Ryan Pryor bats it into the net, and maybe there's life in Mountbellew just yet. A fine score, and so clever from Colin Ryan just to bat it into the net. If he caught that ball there, he was going to get gobbled up, but almost reached behind in volleyball style into the top left-hand corner. A fine finish. And game very much on. Again, and touching on Colin Ryan, he's playing inside in the forward line in the second half, but that's pure experience. He's used to playing at a high level, knew his bearings, knew who was around him, and batted the ball into the net. A really good finish, and caught, I think, Kieran Noon by surprise, and it was a really good finish. It's only a 2-point ball game. It's almost fascinating we're saying that. We thought the Niall Lee goal had wrapped things up, but here comes Mountbellew, and they might get another goal, you feel. Comes our shot is taken, it's over the bar, and it's a 1-point ball game. And we still have a huge amount of time, about 3 minutes plus to be played here. This game is far from over. It's the game that keeps on giving. Yeah, it's similar to the first half. Ended with a real surge from Mountbellew in this instance versus Oughterard in the first half, and it looked after Niall Lee scoring the goal that it was game over, but to be fair to Mountbellew, they've shown their experience. They haven't given up. The goal has brought them right back into it, and you'd have to say it could go any way from here. So it's Mountbellew now chasing back an equaliser. By my tally, that would be enough for them to get to second position. They might even go and win on the full. Barry McHugh is a touch on the ground. Referee says no. And here comes the possession. There's still loads of time left. Remarkably, we do have 8 minutes of additional time. In towards Ryan. Lets the ball come through. Shot is blocked. It could spin dangerously. Where's the ball going to drop? Coming through. It's batted. What a save again! Kieran Noon is a man possessed in the Oughterard goal. Yeah, fantastic save again, Kieran Noon. It was a blocked shot from Colin Ryan that found its way, I think, to Michael Kelly. I'm unsure. Perhaps it was, yes. It could have been. He went to pat it in again, like Colin. But Kieran Noon, to be fair, stood up strong and got a strong right hand to wrap it around the post. But again, the vital thing here is for Mountbellew, it's probably very scoreable. It's just outside the left foot, about 5 yards to the left hand side of the goals. So here, despite the big save, it was Sean Kelly, I think we were being told, was the one that got the decisive second last touch. It has put us out to a 45, and here is Barry McHugh, a chance that didn't seem likely a couple of moments ago to level the sides here in Pearse Stadium. We played 6.5 minutes of additional time at the end of the second half. Here comes McHugh from the right. McHugh, as he got it, the umpire put it, it's gone wide. 2 missed 45s in the second half from Barry McHugh, usually so reliable, but it's still far from over. This kick out, Kieran Noon, has had big moments, particularly in the second half, but you feel like his next kick out might be the most important of them all. It's a vital one here, and he has to try and find someone. You'd have to think he's looking for Enda or Matthew Tierney under this high ball, but Barry will be disappointed to have missed that shot. It was well, like we touched on, well within his range. I've seen him kick 55, 65s from that distance, and he'd be just that little bit disappointed that it tailed off to the left. So we're talking about training ground routines for the last while. Here comes Mountbellew with this sideline ball. Yeah. One more chance, one more move to try and get the draw. That would be enough for them to get second position here in Group 1. On the attack they go. A lot of steps potentially taken by David Gurdy, but he scoops the ball offwards back towards Foley. Foley looks up. Over on the right hand side they go. Can they get one more attack? One more challenge. Gurdy now held up. Goes back towards Billy Mannion. Billy Mannion now. It's all about getting the sharpshooter. Scoops a hand pass in field. It's been picked up over there by Kelly. Kelly back towards Barry McHugh. He's been surrounded by two. They almost basketball style goes across. across. Daly now comes outside the 45, punches through the hands. Will he give the give and go? Backwards it comes and turns toward Garrity. The time is nearly up. Garrity is still going outside the 45. Mannion has it. Oughterard lead by 1. The time is up. Can they get the shot away, or will Oughterard win by 1? Perhaps one more opportunity. Over towards the left hand side they go. Colin Ryan, he got a goal so far. He lets fly from the left hand side. As it tailed off, it's over left and wide, and that should be all it wrote here in a dramatic game at Pearse Stadium. Oughterard look like they're going to secure second spot of Group 1 here, but my God, what a game of football we've had here in Pearse Stadium.
Yeah, real good excitement, and to be fair to Jarlow, he gave them the chance. They deserved it, they played it, and Colin Ryan, to be fair, backed himself, went for it. It wasn't that far wide, but you could see from the keeper's reaction that it tailed to left. Massive win for Oughterard. They'll be delighted with it.
A statement victory from Oughterard, 111 to 110. But what a game of football we've had here, Barry. Quickly, Eddie will give you man of the match. The teams are coming out. We have a very short turnaround here, so we'll keep this nice and tight, if you don't mind. You'll probably struggle at this one.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, to be honest, because there was some good performances on both sides. I think it's going to be the Oughterard side, but from Barry McHugh in Mountbellew, again, 4 points. He'd be just disappointed that he missed that shot at the end to ultimately give them second place. It would have been enough. Colin Ryan showed, like we touched on, a lot of his experience right throughout the game, as did John Daly and James Foley. They were a real good pivot at 6-0. Finnerty was bright in the first half. Obviously a big loss when he had to leave the pitch. On the other side then, on the Oughterard side, they've had some really good performances. We touched on Kieran Noon in goals. It was excellent. They were really tight at the back. Eddie O'Sullivan used his experience. You could see Ronan Malloy, who retreated around the middle of the pitch. James Webb, I thought, was really effective. Ended Tierney, good 2-pointer in the first half. Matthew, obviously with his county credentials, had a really good duel with John Daly. For some parts he was, with others large parts as well. Niall Lee again top scored for Oughterard with 1 goal and 4 points. For me, it's sort of a flick of a coin between the goalkeeper Kieran Noon and Niall Lee at 15, but I think I'm just going to marginally go with Kieran Noon in goal for Oughterard, who pulled off 4 outstanding saves, and despite being under a little bit of pressure with his kick out, still had the confidence to make those saves at key ventures. But again, probably Niall Lee is scoring prowess was pivotal, but keeping the goals out the other end was probably the difference, and Kieran Newton today did that, so well done to Kieran.
Yeah, fine victory for Oughterard, who come out in front of us. You might see on camera out here, it's another huge game. Many people call this one the game of the weekend. It's Barna na Fobara against Killallen. That's to come here in Salthill, but full time after a thriller in Group 1. It's finished Oughterard by the minimum. They only got 2 scores in the second half, but it was enough. 111 to 110. They've defeated Mountbellew. Stay with us very shortly for the second game to come here in Pearse Stadium. Started the better, found some room over on the right hand side. Finnerty goes back on his left to be a wonderful. He's covered a good bit of ground. Still Donlan has a couple of shoulders. One of those is Colin Ryan. Colin Ryan shoots at the right. Now Lee now. Lee, will he go for 2? Looks like he will. He's from downtown. Looks like he has the distance, as of the accuracy. The umpire's looking at him. It is, and Ryan's already got 1. Will he try and go through? He might even try and force a goal here. Towards the left hand side they go, back towards the central zone. Shot comes in. Billy Mannion, it's saved. With 20 minutes gone on the clock here in the first half. And he's going to take it now, left hand side of goal. Can he get back on that trusty right? Just decides to go first time. No.
Mountbellew have curtailed what we would say is one of Oughterard's strongest lines in the half-forward line.
Into Tierney going for a 2-pointer. They would desire come up to half-time with the breeze on their back. It's a strike coming flying forward again, and there is options here with Keane Monaghan. Keane Monaghan's going to loft this one over the post of the 45 even. Matthew Tierney now is tagging on John Daly. He's going for one downtown. This would gloss a second half. Has he got the accuracy? Here comes Oughterard. Of course, it was an indirect free kick, so they couldn't shoot first. Here comes Eric Clay. He goes find half a soft yard coming through. Tries to get the first on the second half. Just a talent. He goes back on the left, looks up, has options around him. Gives it out towards John Daly, who's going for one from distance. The wind is going to catch this. After Mountbellew had won the kick out. boots the ball into towards the corner, where it's picked up by Barry McHugh. Turns first time. This one looks good. Is it going to come in? It is. It's the first half for large berries. Oughterard hit and finished like a train, and led at the break by 10 points to 4. Shot comes in from a difficult angle. Mountbellew, if this is finished as a draw as things stand coming into a game, this game they had a score difference of +5 to the even mark of Oughterard. So it comes through, and it's a fine save again from Kieran Noon. Breeze at the back, coming forward. Here's the backdoor cut. Can they get the shot away? Shot is in a difficult angle. Have they squeezed it? Hands Colin forward. Haven't seen him in a while. He was so busy first half. He's been galled up. Boots the ball back cleverly. Who's going to get possession of the ball? And it's all of a sudden Paddy Walsh. Although he's been turned over. Here comes Barry McHugh. McHugh pops the ball inside. Leo Dolan across. Leo Dolan puts it wide. Oh! He set up his teammate to be denied by a goal. He takes another resultant 45. And ever.
The interesting few minutes for both.
And here comes Oughterard on the counter-attack themselves. Here they come forward. Eric Lee has possession of the ball. He's still going. Pops it off the shoulder. Niall Lee comes across. Niall Lee into the back of the net. The lead. They might talk about that in Loch George later on in the year when they go back in the room, but it's all about the club colours at the moment. As Mountbellew come on the attack again, they really need a goal, you feel. Can they get the shot in? Moving through the hands quickly. Ryan Pryor bats it into the net, and maybe this life in Mountbellew just yet. Things up, but here comes Mountbellew, and they might get another goal, you feel. Comes out, shot is taken. It's over the bar. Full Barry McHugh. Is a touch on the ground. Referee says no. And here comes the possession. There's still loads of time left. Remarkably, you do have 8 minutes of additional time. In towards Ryan. Lets the ball come through. Shot is blocked. It could spin dangerously. Where's the ball going to drop? Coming through. It's batted. What a save again! Over towards the left-hand side they go. Colin Ryan. He got a goal so far. He lets fly from the left-hand side. As it tailed off, it's over left and wide. And that should be all.